Welcome to the state of PA football. PaFootballNews.com's weekly look at high school football from around the state of Pennsylvania. From Philly to Erie, Scranton to Pittsburgh, Johnstown to St. Mary's, York to Bradford, and all areas in between. Whether you're a Bulldog, a Lion, Crusader, Eagle, or Millionaire, host Billy Splain has got you covered. Thanks to our sponsor, the Funding Zone. He'll be traveling the state bringing a guest host and a friend or two. There's just one question. Are you ready for some football?
And now, your host, Billy Splain.
How you doing, guys? Welcome, everybody out there in internet land. My name is Billy Splain. This is PA Football News presents the State of PA Football, the title game edition. Sitting to my right is Phil Protime Myers. We got Brian Hollywood Tashinsky. And all the way down there on the end is Edo Weaver from Circle W Sports.
What's up?
We're here live at App.Brewing Company, and we are just down the road from Cumberland Valley. We're not in Hershey this year, guys. We're at Cumberland Valley. I did a tour today. We're going to bring that up in a little while. But right now, we're going to get right into it, right into the news. Breaking news tonight. The PAAA board met tonight, made a few decisions. First one, Phil, let's talk about they were talking about separating the transfer rule from the success factor points, but they did not do that today. They decided to leave it as it was. Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, the first two votes, I think they had enough for the just straight out success factor, but it turned out they added the transfer rule. I don't like that. I like the straight transfer rule. I don't know. I think there was some probably arm twisting behind the scenes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what would have been going on there either. I mean, know, I thought it was nice too that they were going to separate it and just go by success points.
Exactly.
And it makes it less complicated.
Right. It's so complicated, and a lot of the schools protest. You know, how many hearings have they had about schools saying, no, I didn't have 3 transfers, or I didn't have 5 transfers. You know, just make it a success factor and move them up.
I know. We talked about that, and that was good. The other big news today is they approved it on 2 readings, but today they had their final reading, and the PIAA, according to Chris Harlan from TribLive.com, he was at the meeting down the road, by a vote of 25-4, the PIAA approved the NIL agreement that they had set out. There are some stipulations, though, and these were in our article. You can go to PaFootballNews.com. We just put an article out. So you're not allowed to do the following as a player. You cannot be endorsed by adult entertainment products or any kind of services or anything to do with that. So no down the red litter district. Casinos, gambling, lotteries, etc. Anything to do with gambling, you're not allowed to be endorsed by any of those types of businesses or anything like that. Tobacco. The electronic tobacco things, what are they called? The vape things?
Vapes.
Anything that has to do with anything tobacco, you may not be endorsed. Pharmaceuticals and drugs and that kind of thing, you can't, do anything with that. Dangerous substances, weapons, firearms, ammunitions. That's kind of like I saw, I think Chris Harlan actually from TribLife put it out there. So you can't be endorsed by Ruger, but you can shoot a Ruger at the high school.
Yeah. For schools that sponsor rifle as a sport.
Rifle team.
So I mean, in addition, when an athlete has an NIL deal, they cannot have any kind of marking or insignia or anything like that while they're wearing their school, anything representing their school. They can't have, like, let's say it's a healthcare system, OHS healthcare system. They can't have that anywhere around them, showing that that's their NIL partnership. They have to notify a school within 72 hours that they've signed a deal for NIL, so the school has to be notified. Boy, I'll tell you, on paper, this looks dangerous, but we talked about before the show a little bit. There's really, what's a player going to make? A couple $100? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what there was.
Yeah. So
have
like,
no idea.
if you're a car dealership, what is a high school football player to you just by his face and his name? I mean, you might sell a car because to somebody local, but those people already serve your area. I mean, you know, let's say you're up in your area, Ed,
Yeah.
and one of the local car lots strikes a deal with a high school football player. That kid goes on a commercial on Hometown. What's it called?
Oh, for Homepage Network that I
Homepage
also
Network.
work for. Yeah.
Yeah. So kid goes on there. You know, there's a commercial on there with a kid saying, "Hey, I'm Timmy Michaels, and go to Johnny John's Auto Care Center." They're already like the community already knows about that place.
Yeah.
So how much is that worth?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see it, you know, the bigger schools, the Pittsburgh area schools, the Philly area schools,
Yeah.
you know, maybe central part of the state area schools, your 4, 5, 6A schools. I don't think you're going to see it, you know, in Tioga County and Potter County,
Thorpe.
Bradford County. Yeah.
Thorpe.
Yeah. So,
So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, well, now see, there's a Jim Thorpe, big, huge tourist area. All their money's made by people coming into Jim Thorpe.
Right.
So what good would it be for a local restaurant or a local business to hire the quarterback from Jim Thorpe High School to do a commercial? Because anybody in that's coming in out of that area, all the thousands and thousands of people. I mean, Jim Thorpe gets packed. They don't know who this kid is. You know, it's just, hi, my name is Brian James. You know, come buy a car.
Right.
You know what?
You know, maybe if you got a kid that's, you know, a D1, top D1 recruit, you know, 5-star, somebody like that, you know, that's notarized, like, you know, if you're like a Nick Singleton or, you know, London Montgomery, somebody like that.
Yep.
If you had that kind of quality player, maybe I could see that way.
Couple
But
$100, couple thousand, maybe
Maybe.
2,000.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I just don't. I don't think this is going to be as detrimental to high school sports as some people think. I do.
think
I
so.
mean,
I hope
like,
not.
hope not either.
I mean, let's be honest. How many college players do you recognize by their face and their name?
It's the number and the jersey that they're wearing. I mean,
Right.
you know, you don't see the faces behind the helmets and the face mask during the, you know, during
Yeah.
the course of the games.
Brian, you want to pull that up on top of your head, like the rest of us?
That's why he's Hollywood.
Then it won't slide down like that. He's relaxed. So that's our breaking news right now. We touched on it. Let's move on. Season's over on Saturday, guys.
Crazy.
That's right. Hard to believe.
I mean, here we are.
Seemed like
Just getting
yesterday we
ready
were in
for-
Chambersburg.
I
It's like
know.
we're just getting ready for heat accommodation.
HEAC. Just shorten it
something
like I
like
do. I can't say it either. Yeah. Yeah. So
Acclimation. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the word I was looking
Heat
for.
acclimation.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that here we are. I don't even
believe
feel like I went to a football game this year.
It's fun.
Oh, I did. But it doesn't seem like 16 weeks have gone by.
Right?
No,
No.
it doesn't. It's just absolutely incredible. I can't believe we're here. We're right down the road from Cumberland Valley High School. Did a tour of the stadium today. I want to talk a little bit about the differences. I mean, is anybody going to miss Hershey?
No.
No.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, maybe in name recognition alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, no.
Yeah, no, it's I can't believe it. It's crazy that we're here. You're going to enjoy the tour. You're going to enjoy seeing what they have in store for us. And for you folks out there who were skeptical, I'm about to wipe that away. And when you get here, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, we were wrong for thinking that it's going to be crappy. But talk about your season, man. Talk about your season, guys. Some memorable moments.
Well, just a few weeks ago, not Pine Richland, but State College in McDowell.
You had the most memorable moment. You cheated and led off with the biggest one.
57-50 triple overtime. You don't see that too often. That was quite a game. Could have went either way. And actually, McDowell came within 4 yards of turning the ball over and making up 4 overtime. So
Yeah.
That's my most memorable game off the top of my head. But
And then State College went ahead and lost the next week, the
they
following
did
week.
lose.
I wonder, like, did that affect them? Like, did that?
Oh no, they beat
they
North
played one more game.
Allegheny,
That's
and then
right.
they lost.
They
Yeah.
played North Allegheny. So, my statement was meant nothing. Brian,
Mine was probably last week, going to last minute decision to go see Wyomissing and Newman Goretti.
yeah, Brian's like Billy, like it's Thursday.
I know.
No, it was Friday. It was Friday. I was coming.
It was Friday. Yeah, it was
coming home from
Friday.
Reading.
And Brian didn't have a game that day. If you do this, there you go. All the way around, all the way there, right up on the top.
Oh, Tom.
There you go.
All right.
That's it. Then they won't slide off. So Brian calls me, or he texts me or whatever it
I
was.
called you on the
He's
way
like-
home from Reading.
Because Brian didn't have a game. You didn't have a game on Friday.
I had a game Friday. I was in Reading.
Oh, you
saw
didn't have a Saturday game.
I
That's
didn't
what
have
it
a
was.
Saturday game.
And he's used to having Saturday games. He's like, Billy, I want to go to a football game. Do you want me to go to Wyomissing? And I'm like, if you want to go. And then I looked it up on the map, and I realized, and I never realized this before, that Philadelphia is like only an hour from you.
Yeah.
I never realized that. So guess what's next year's going to entail?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm not going down to Germantown.
Watch out for those
Oh, that stadium.
goalposts.
I'll tell you what. If I was anybody, I would recommend that to the PIAA. I would tell the PIAA to tell Philadelphia you don't get a home game until you get a stadium.
That was awful.
Yeah.
Northeast is their best stadium, and it's turf. But when you look down the sidelines, it looks like a snake going through the sand. It's just that it's that bad. I mean, it's horrible.
Germantown had chunks of turf coming up. Half the scoreboard worked. The only thing that worked on the scoreboard was the
Crazy.
clock and the score. The down distance didn't
Yep.
work.
Nope.
There was no concession stand.
No concessions.
Parking was
There's no parking.
awful. You had to park.
Wow.
There was limited parking around the stadium. Luckily, I got there early enough to.
Did they let you in the gate?
Yeah, they wanded just everybody down. Even normally I would walk in with the credentials
Yeah.
and I'm good.
Good.
But no, I got wanded down and
Have that crooked goalpost.
two crooked goalposts on both sides. So they kind of both.
They were crooked in the spring though of 2020 or 21.
Yeah.
They were.
Haven't fixed
So
them.
they didn't fix them. So
No.
yeah, it's just
They were off
They
by
gotta do
about,
something
about
down
a
there.
foot.
it's embarrassing. They got to do something down there. Again, we're at Appalachian Brewing Company here on the Carlisle Pike. If anybody's around, come on down. All you football fans, we're talking about football. We're going to break down the games here in a few minutes. Want to thank all of my sponsors this year for helping us out. Some of the sponsors we're going to bring up later. I'm not bringing any up now, right now, Dan. So we're going to bring them up. But the Funding Zone, I want to talk about the Funding Zone. What a great job they've done. And what you can bring one or two up. The Funding Zone, what a great company they are. They've been with me for the last couple of years at PA Football News. And, throughout the season, we talk about the Funding Zone and Mike Sikorsky and those guys. And just an incredible company. If your school needs money, if your program needs money, you're not going to raise any more money than you would with them. I want to talk about my two new sponsors. Well, one of my new sponsors, Turf Tank. Excuse me, I met Turf Tank guys. I met them while we were doing the Big 33 game, Ed.
Yeah, that was so cool to see.
Yeah, Turf Tank is an amazing. If you've got a grass field, whether it be field hockey, whether it be football, baseball, whatever field you have that needs to get lined, if you want to save some time and you don't want to worry about being out there, Turf Tank, get a hold of them. They're on our website. They have provided funding for all of our coverage of the playoffs this entire year and our brackets that were built by Circle W down there. What a great job they did. And Coach Com is always been with us, but they decided they wanted to jump on board and sponsor our brackets, and they wanted to help sponsor the football seasons or the playoff season. So they're on board. What's great and exciting that we're going to do tomorrow that we've never done before, we're going to do live pregame, halftime, and postgame reports live from the stadium. And those are all of our sponsors, Funding Zone, Turf Tank, and Coach Com of those programs. So you just go to PaFootballNews.com. You're there right now watching, I hope. And before the game, Every day at 12:40, we'll be on the air right at halftime. So you're going to have to check and see when halftime is if you want to see us. And then right after the game, we'll break down the game. We have different celebrities. Alex Fidrzewski from Three Rivers Sports Broadcasting is going to be on. I think I have Phil on a couple of those, so we're going to spread it out. Mike Cabry's going to be on there, so that's going to be exciting for us. We're excited. We're going to cover every game, every angle. We're going to do all this kind of stuff. Right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to let some of our sponsors tell you what they're all about. So, Dan, take us to commercial.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michael Sikorsky from the Funding Zone, the #1 fundraising company in the state of Pennsylvania. If you need help raising funds for your program, please contact us at 570-885-0900. Thank you.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33. Hey, yo!
Welcome back. Hey, everybody, take a look down there. Ed Weaver did a change. We got my good friend Joe Gilloway from Lingostown Gazette Sports.
Yep.
Down at the end there. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Thanks for
having
coming
me.
over. Yeah, definitely.
Always a good time.
Got to have you on the show, Joe.
Thank you.
So right now, what we're going to do is I took a tour today. I took a tour of Cumberland Valley with Mike Craig, the athletic director. And, of course, once again, we're here at Appalachian Brewing Company on the Carlisle Pike. What a great place. Incredible.
We just ate. It's good. The food's good.
Yeah, he had tater tots, homemade tater tots. So not the kind
very good.
Not the kind you buy in the store.
Yeah.
They were incredible.
Yep. My grandson's finishing off some tacos there. They're really good.
Nice. They were awesome.
Yep.
So we did a tour today with Mike Craig. I did a tour, and he showed me everything that, and I wanted to share with everyone. Go ahead and show the graphic. First of all, let's talk about who earned the trip to the Chap. We coined that all year long. So who earned the trip to the Chap? We have the Union Scotties out of District 7 and the Steelton High Spire Rollers, Joe.
Willie, what are Scotties?
It's a terrier, like a Scottish terrier.
Like a dog.
They used to be called the Terriers.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. And then that's tomorrow's first game. And then the second game tomorrow is a big rematch. Aliquippa and Bishop McDevitt.
Mm-hmm.
What a great one. We're going to talk about all these games later on. Then Friday we have somebody who everybody insisted, including me, that wasn't going to come back to the state championship games. We have Southern Columbia. The Tigers are back, and they look like the Tigers of last year and the year before. And they're going to take on Westinghouse, and I think that's going to be a bang-up game. The Bulldogs are good. Then tomorrow night we have Pine Richland, who, like the Phoenix out of the ashes.
Started 1-3 and won their last 11 games.
It's amazing. And they play Imhotep. Tep was here last year, took one on the chin. And then Saturday, Bell Vernon and Newman Goretti play. Should I hold that fact until we talk about them? Yeah, I will.
Yeah, we can hold that.
Yeah, I'll hold that back. And then Harrisburg, who you know very well, and St. Joe's Prep. So right now, what I want to do is, we're going to focus on me a little bit here. We're going to pull up some graphics. I did a tour today, so we're going to show all the people in the media, what you need to know. So the first thing you need to know is when you come down here, you want to get on the Carlisle Pike, which is Route 11, and you want to get down to the stadium, which is right along Route 11, and you want to turn on DAP Lane. Okay, so if you're a media member or if you're coming to park, you want to turn on to DAP Lane right off of 11. So it's on the visitor side of the stadium when you're looking at the stadium from Route 11. You're going to go, as a media member, you're going to go back to the second lot. You're going to go past the visitor side, you're going to go past the first lot, and then the second lot, and you're going to park in the second lot right there. So you can see on the graphic there, the second lot. So once you do, you're going to get out of your car, and you're going to walk towards the building, and you're going to see the district support facility. You're going to go in that door, okay? District support facility, and that's where Melissa Mertz and the PIAA are going to be sitting, handing out credentials and things like that. So then they'll direct you where to go into the field. Once you get into the field, we're going to talk about facilities. So this facility right here, we're showing on the air right now, that is right outside the end zone, and that is for like photographers to go hang out, and they'll keep all their gear in there. And it's basically a place for photographers. It's also where we're going to do our live stream right from that building. So that's a place where media members can kind of go hang out. There's a lot of places for media to go hang out down here. It's incredible. This is a look inside that box, left to right. That's facing away from the stadium. There's going to be tables on both sides there. Plenty of room for media to go in there and hang out in between halves, at halftime. After the game, great place to go. Internet is really good all over the place. It's really good. I'm really excited to go here. I mean, it was a great tour. So this is the press box, the home side press box, the main press box. If you go back, Dan, pull the other one back up. So this press box here, is that no, that's not the visiting press box.
You said that's the building for the photographers, I think.
Yeah, this is the visitors press box. They had to enclose a press box that they had there. This is the visitors press box. So there's ample room in there for probably, I'd say, 10 people to be in there. Our staff will be in there. You can probably get 10 chairs in there, and they're going to have some high tops in there too. So that's the visiting press box. It's a good view. The windows are nice. Everything looks good from there. So media, if you're worried about press box access and stuff like that, it's not as long as Hershey was, but between the two press boxes, you're good. If you've ever been to Altoona, go to this press box here, Dan. And if you've ever been to Altoona, they have two tiers that you can sit behind. So the front tier that you're looking at, right along the front there, KDKA, the officials, and there's another radio station for one day that's going to be there. They'll take that front row, but then the back row, you can get about 4 or 5 guys, and you can see the entire field from that back row. They're going to have high top chairs and stuff like that. So those are the press boxes that they have there. And now, what they're going to have for the media is, and this is what's been missing at Hershey the last couple of years, they're going to feed us. They're going to feed the media. So when you check in and get your credentials at that front gate, they're going to give you a voucher for something at the concession stands. So you're going to be able to get something at the concession stand. And then after the game, or even during halftime, in the building right behind the end zone opposite the scoreboard, which I don't have a picture of that, but they're going to show you there's a couple of conference rooms in there the media can use to sit down, write their articles and stuff like that. Or if you're upstairs in the press boxes, you can do that.
Penn Live uses that building now for their own media day. Rather than using Penn Live uses Cumberland Valley.
Yeah.
That's the room the building they use. That's a great building.
Yeah. Pull your mic back a little bit. There you go. And then, so after the game, as media members or the dignitaries or whatever that are usually on the sidelines, you're going to take a walk. So you're going to go out this gate right here, which is, again, up near the building. You're going to go out this gate, and then you're going to walk down alongside the tennis courts. All right?
Billy, this is a lot to ingest.
I know. That's why I'm doing this. So then you're going to walk down, keep going, Dan. You're going to walk down towards the cafeteria. You can see the walkway there. You're going to go down there, keep going, Dan. There's the you're going to go down along the tennis courts, and then you're going to go through the entrance into the cafeteria. This is what the entrance looks like. You're going to walk down the hallway, and you're going to go into the cafeteria. There from 3:30 till 6:30, they're going to serve us dinner. Tomorrow's menu is beef tips in there. And then when you come, beef tips. And then when you come back in, you get another voucher, or they're going to give you 2 vouchers if you're there for both games. So you can eat during the first game, go in, have dinner, and then during the second game you get to eat. So the facilities are just phenomenal. It's great. I mean, there's nobody is going to be complaining about this. They have bleachers in the end zone for dignitaries and coaches and everybody to sit on. It's just going to be an incredible experience. I'm excited. I really am.
Good.
And they did a great job. Josh Oswald and the whole everybody down there is pitching in, just like the crew at Bishop McDevitt did for the Big 30.
Mike Craig earns his pay. He does a lot over there.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Mike Craig's a great guy. He may show up. We may see him here.
He was there for soccer, and he was working.
Yeah, he may come here to be on the show. If you get
here, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's your tour, guys. If any media members out there, I think that's about as broke down as I can make it. So everything's good. So the other thing that I'm happy about, is finally, and this is for all you teams out there that have been to Hershey and you're back here at the state championship games, and you know what the locker rooms look like at Hershey. They're awful. I have closets bigger than those locker rooms. Check these out. These are the locker rooms at Cumberland Valley that you're going to be in. I mean, that's just part of the locker room. I couldn't get the whole locker room in the picture. So the locker rooms are just incredible. I don't need the trophies or anything like that. But so that's it. Hey, let's take a break. We'll come back and then we'll get talking football, guys.
Okay.
All right. Good. So Dan, take us to commercial.
I would recommend becoming an official because you can feel like you're a part of a sport that you love.
We officiate for the athletes and for the sport that we love, and so as long as you keep them first, then it's going to be a great experience.
So the money I've made from officiating for the past few years, I put all that money into savings to pay to finish my college education. In 6 months, when I complete that, I will not be in any debt.
Officiating the state championship and getting that call to officiate the state championship was an emotional thing for me, just because of what I've been through, the ups and downs, and getting that call really meant a lot to me. Sometimes I see student athletes that I officiated years and years ago, and they say, "Man, you did a great job. Thanks for everything you've done."
The Cobalt Plus headset system delivers proven performance along with more users, more flexibility. That's why coaches across Pennsylvania trust Cobalt Plus. CoachComm makes tough headset systems for tough teams. We build headsets to help teams win. Call or click to learn more about Cobalt Plus from the proven leader in football communications.
CoachComm is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communications. For over 30 years, we've built our business on innovation and winning, with the goal to equip your team with the best coaching communication available. 97% of all FBS programs and thousands of high schools and colleges across the U.S. choose CoachComm because CoachComm has the experience and the know-how to provide the very best in technology and winning solutions.
All right, welcome back to App.Brewing Company. Billy Splain from PA Football News. Joe from Lincolnstown Gazette. Got Hollywood and Pro Time sitting here. Guys, let's talk football.
Let's do it.
First game, Joe.
Still high? Union. Did you ask me what I think of it?
Go for it.
Well, you and I had a kind of a side discussion here about 20 minutes ago, and I think it's Steel High's game. I think they're going to dominate. I don't think it'll be a running clock game, but I think they're going to win by 3 touchdowns. I think there's just too much athleticism for them. I think they're tested. They play almost a full schedule of teams outside of their classification because there's no other 1A teams around the Harrisburg area for them to play. So, and that's with respect to Union. I mean, Union's it's a great story, what Union's been through, but I just think that the magic will be done by tomorrow at, 3 o'clock?
Yeah. Phil, you saw Union play?
No, I didn't see Union. I saw Stilton.
You saw Stilton play.
Yeah, the first game of the year, they beat Bishop Canavan, which both teams have in common, by 1 touchdown. And that was because Canavan quarterback panicked on a bad snap and spiked the ball on 4th down. Or they might have tied the game and sent it to overtime with Steel High. The other common opponent they have is Canton. The first game of the year, I think Union lost a team, and Canton had an open date. Canton beat Union by 12 or 13, 31-18, 31-19, something like that. And then last week, Steel High beat Canton by a touchdown.
In the last second.
So I know you can't go by scores. You get in trouble doing that. I anticipate it to be a little closer game. There's something about Union at the end of the year that they've really come together. So I think it's going to be closer, but I still think Steel High is going to win too. But.
I watched Union and Bishop Canavan play, and just going by those parameters right there, Bishop Canavan wasn't even in that game. Like, Union came out, the Scotties just punched them right in the mouth, and it was almost like Canavan just folded, like a house of cards, and they could not stop Stanley and the rest of the Union players. They didn't have an answer for Stanley. There was no answer for him at all. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't slow him down. The only thing I say is I think this might be a little tighter game than what you're saying. And the reason is, and Dan, you saw it. You were there. And Dan's not in our command. I don't think Dan's on camera, but he's right. Trust me, he's right. There's Dan right there. All right. You saw Steele. Also, this week they're without one of their best football players, Darrell Caesar. Yeah. Does that make a difference, Dan?
Honestly, I don't believe it's gonna. My only, I don't know how to say it, but if Steel can eliminate their penalties,
that's a big deal.
They're gonna win. Like Joe said, they're very athletic, quick.
Caesar was out last week too. Remember?
Yeah, he was out
the whole game,
and they struggled.
Northern Lehigh.
Canton gave it away.
You could say they struggled, or you could say they were able to somehow figure out how to beat a really good team, because I wasn't convinced that I wouldn't have said the same thing about Canton if you asked me this a week ago,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's what we're here for. We're here to debate, and Canton was a good team, but Canton also is very one-dimensional. Union is not. So
can Union keep up with Steel High? I don't know.
Was Union as good at the beginning of the year when they played Canton as they are now?
I would say they're better. And don't forget their losses. Other than the South Side, I think they lost to Laurel, and that was a close game. And they lost to Canton, who was a top 4 team in the state. And South Side, they must have had a bad game. They got beat pretty bad that game. But I think that quarterback, Braylon Thomas, he has over almost 1,200 yards passing, and he's run for 1,475. So they've got to be able to key on him. But they also have another running back, the Gunn kid, Matt Gunn.
Matt Gunn. Is it Matt?
Matt Gunn, yeah. And Maddox Thompson, wide receiver, who doesn't get a lot of throws. They seem to spread it around, which in a way is good, because then you can't key on one guy.
Right. They do spread it around a lot, and like I said, watching that game, they were very athletic and very fast. So this is a different team than what played Canton, back in the early weeks. And then, sometimes a team, all of a sudden just something happens and bam. They come out and they just dominate. Now, they almost lost last week to Port Allegheny.
Yeah,
or you could say they pulled it out.
They got up real big and held on. Port Allegheny scored 30 points in the fourth quarter, and it could have been 36, except they fumbled the ball at the 30-yard line, and Union ran the ball back 70 yards, and that was the difference in the game. So,
yeah.
It's hard to give up 30 points in a quarter.
Yeah.
For a team that's going to be in a state championship game tomorrow.
They did. They didn't end that game on a good note.
But they figured out a way to win.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And now I saw Steel High when they played West Perry, and that was they came out of the gates and just they knocked West Perry to the ground. And I talked to their head coach Bob after the game, and I said I knew you were going to lose. I said, you want to know how? And he said, how? I said, I watched your players come off the bus and walk on the field like this game didn't matter. And at that time, that game did not matter to them. West Perry, they already, whether they won or lost, they weren't changing their seating. So it didn't matter, but they just walked on the field, and before they knew it, they were down 3 touchdowns.
Can we do a he beat him and he beat him kind of scenario like we just were?
Yeah.
Steel High pounded West Perry, right? West Perry pounded Trinity, who was just in the 2A semifinal game and lost big.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at making those comparisons, you know, I'm a Steel High. I like Steel High. I'm friends with their. You know, I'm just a
Coach
Steel
Irby's a great guy.
Yes. I thought West Perry was going to beat Steel High. I wasn't even close.
I picked them in our pro pick 'em. In our pro time pick 'em, I picked West Perry, and I thought they were going to beat them too. So I was really surprised when that game happened.
I think the athleticism was too much for West Perry.
And West Perry, well, like I said, they just came out and they really didn't care. And within 3 minutes, it was 20-0. You know, interception, big run, boom, done. And once you're down like that, you know, Brian's seen some blowouts that you just don't come back from them. You know, it's hard. So I was excited to see them. I like Steel High. Steel and Highspire. I'm sorry. Steel and Highspire. I got yelled at for calling them Steel High one time. They're Steel and Highspire.
Right.
Up on the hill.
I got a good figure for you. This is Steel High's 11th state championship matchup game in different sports. They've never lost one.
Wow.
5 for 5 in basketball, 3 for 3 in football, plus 2 mythical before 88 started. So, and they won both of their mythical, and 2 for 2 in girls basketball.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
So if you add the mythical, this is their 13th. Okay,
Wow.
12 for 12. That is pretty.
That's a good. That's
You know, it's really easy to like get knocked off by like a really good team here or there, and they never have. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat.
They say when we in it, we win it.
That's an amazing stat.
Yep.
Well, that's your breakdown, guys. I mean, looking forward to that to kick off the weekend. So I think it's going to be a good game. I do. I think it's going to be a good game. And I'm not, I don't even remember who I picked on the panel, but that comes out tomorrow morning. We'll find out who everybody picked. We have a couple of guests in there too. Okay. So we had a couple guest pickers this week. So that's exciting. So tomorrow, Steelton, Highspire, and Union out of District 7. Mid-Penn is well represented. They've got 3 teams in here. Good for District 3. So, and then I think the Whitfield has 4.
Yes.
Right. The Whitfield has 4. So, you could say it's Mid-Penn versus Whitfield this year.
Well, there's 2 District 12 teams, though. So.
And 3.
Oh, 3. Okay, yeah. I'm leaving Emotep out. Newman Goretti and St. Joe's Prep. Yeah.
Yes. So there's 3. So it's basically District 3, 12, and 11, and 7 battling it out with that guy from District 4.
Right. When they in it these days, they win it.
Yeah.
Well, not back in the day now.
It's been a long time since they didn't win it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, hey, that's the 1A game. We're going to take a break. We're going to hear from a couple of sponsors. We'll come back and we'll talk about the 4A game. That's going to be a big one. So we'll be right back. Make sure you run my 2.
Hey, yo.
All right, we're back live, and guys, Appalachian Brewing Company, the PIAA the state championships this weekend down here at Cumberland Valley High School. 4A game tomorrow night, guys. Oh, it's a rematch from last year. It's Bishop McDevitt, and it's the Aliquip Eclipse. It's going to be, if it's anything like it was last year, it went right down to the wire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the same way. I think you got Division I athletes. You got size on the line, unbelievable size. I think if you're the casual fan and came to see that game, you would think you were watching two college teams.
Absolutely.
Play. Yeah.
I mean, Aliquippa, their line, they average around 295 on their line.
And McDevitt, I know, has a couple at 300 or better. They're not exactly small either.
Yeah, Nico Eberhardt's 325. He's their center on line.
Plus, they brought the tight end in from Warwick, who's got really good size. He's 6'5". I'm not sure what he weighs. He's the baseball player. He was on their state championship baseball team last year, and I guess he probably came to McDevitt to play football, though, because if you're leaving a state championship baseball team and you're a baseball player,
yeah,
and you're traveling from Lancaster County every day, you're probably here for football, you know?
Right. That's true.
I'm showing everybody a picture of my grandson. That's my grandson right there, Carter James. Can you see that? I don't know if you can or not, but that's my grandson, Carter James.
There we go.
Yep. Dressed all in Santa Claus. But anyway, I'm sorry. Proud grandpa moment there. Proud grandpa moment. But, yeah, I mean, size all over the field and athleticism. I mean, Rico Scott for McDevitt. Stone Sanders, you can't forget about him. Marquise Williams, I mean.
And Tyshawn Russell, he come out of nowhere this year and was maybe their top receiver.
You know, I met with Lecter during the Big 33 stuff, and I said, you know, who should we feature? And he said, you got to get Tyshawn Russell's name out there because the kid's going to be a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see them last week against Crestwood last week, and they just totally shut down Crestwood the whole game. I mean, Crestwood couldn't get nothing going. They had a first good drive, and then it stalled. And then once they got that first score, it just snowballed. I think they allowed Schultz, he was coming in over 200 yards a game.
11. He had 11 rushing yards.
Yes.
Wow.
He had over 2,000 yards rushing on the season, had 11 last week. The whole team had like 26 total offensive yards.
They just couldn't get nothing going.
Yeah, so when you talk about McDevitt, it's not just about their offense, it's about their defense.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, you saw him. I haven't seen him since the beginning of the season.
Right.
But I heard their defense just looked phenomenal
Their defense
last week.
they were just swarming. There was nothing that Schultz or those guys. The quarterback he was a freshman for Crestwood, but he was so flustered. I mean, he was just throwing the ball. Like, he was getting pressured every time he dropped back. They're not a passing team, but they were put in passing situations, and there was just times when he was just taking the ball and just, if he found an open spot, he was just throwing it to that spot. He wasn't even looking for a receiver. They were just getting on him as soon as that snap. I mean, they were just coming right at him. They weren't blitzing all the time. It was just the pressure from the front four.
Right.
And that was, he was just overwhelmed.
Yeah, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got Aliquippa, who on defense, Brandon Banks and was it Cameron Lindsay, the linebacker? They are just they're turnover machines. Those two guys. And you take that Aliquippa line, you flip it around, you put it on the other side. So now you got 290 pounds that can, and they're fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're fast. I watched last week. I saw them against Allentown Central Catholic. I watched them. I watched Nico Eberhardt. He's a 6'3", 325-pound lineman. I watched him chase down Tamlin. He chased him down. That's fast.
That is fast because I don't know how fast
Ferguson
Tamlin is.
is.
I get to see
He's
Tamlin.
not slow from out. So, and he chased him down. Good back at quarterback. He's
impressive numbers. I think he threw a little more this year. He has over 1,900 yards passing. And then Tikwa Hayes, he has.
They call him Taiki. By the way, it's Taiki.
Okay.
They call him Taiki. I clarified that.
Okay, so we'll call him Taiki also. He has over 1,900 yards rushing. So they're obviously a balanced team behind that big line. That's going to be a heck of a game, I think.
I think the quarterback threw 3 touchdown passes last week too, and they're not typically or traditionally.
No, they're not.
Right.
No, they're not.
Yeah. I don't know how long or short the touchdown passes were, but
they were screens. 2 of them were screens.
That's what I was kind of wondering.
And that was my next point. Once you get into the hands of these athletes, I mean, they just take off. And they're really good at like getting open, and it's amazing to see these athletes take off. So the backup running back. Well, you can't call him the backup running back. You call him the other running back. He's just as good as Hayes. He's fast.
They have 3 running backs that they use.
Yeah,
they have 3, but the 2 of them were their main guys.
Right. Yeah.
John Tracy was the other guy. John Tracy, when he took that screen pass, he was like lightning, like zoom. He was in the end zone. I was like, wow, this guy's fast. I couldn't believe how quick he was. You know, until you see their speed up close, you don't realize how fast Aliquippa is. And I saw Bishop McDevitt week 0. I'm sorry. Can we stop doing that too?
I have already stopped. For me.
Yeah, me too.
We need to stop doing that.
People that want to do that, they can. But other folks like us, it's week 1.
The first week I saw them, and McDevitt's fast. You know, they played Imhotep, and Aliquippa is fast. We saw them last year, both teams. And one of my headlines in the previews we did was 2 young teams played in the championship last year. Now 2 mature teams are going to play because it's almost the same players on both teams.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, and one factor I think we're forgetting here are the coaches. Wechter, a phenomenal record of Bishop McDevitt, but correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. I don't think he's won a state championship. McDevitt's won back in the 90s before him.
Before Chapman was the coach.
But if you got to remember who they played one Aliquippa last year. I think a couple of those other losses were against Archbishop Wood.
Wood, Central Valley, and Allentown Central Catholic. So all kind of powerhouses.
Oh, huge powerhouse.
Yeah.
And Aliquippa, and in my opinion, you guys might disagree, but I think they underachieved until Mike Warfield got there. And what have they won? 2 of the last 4 or something?
Aliquippa has won 4 state championships and lost 1.
Well, they lost more than 1.
Or no, they lost 3, I think.
Yeah.
So they've won 4, but the 2
and a
they
couple
won
times
were
they
early
lost
on.
in the semifinals that they should have won.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking the coaches, but I think Mike Warfield has stepped up their game.
I think so too. I think Mike is a great coach. He's done a great job. I think this is a team that Wechter has been waiting for.
Yeah.
You know,
no doubt.
He's been building. Some people call it recruiting. I don't call it recruiting. These kids, you know. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Every school in these areas benefits from a kid moving. Kids move. You know, there isn't a school in the Harrisburg area that didn't have a kid move in the last 2 years.
Well, moving in is different than driving from an hour away every morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like altogether, it's 180 degrees different.
Right. So, you know, it is what it is. But you know what? Bishop McDevitt lost the game early on. They lost, you know, you can beat these teams. Everybody says, oh, the recruiters, or, you know, they talk about Southern Columbia, and we'll talk about that later. Well, you know, why don't you play 3A where you belong? Well, guess what? 3 teams beat them this year. They lost to a 2A team, and then they came back and clobbered them. You know, so you can beat these teams. You just got to beat them. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Rico Scott had a rough start to his season. Dropped 2 touchdown passes in that Imhotep game that probably would have won him the game.
Either one of them.
Probably.
Yeah. If he'd caught either one of them,
almost certainly
they win that game. And so it's tough to start for him, but boy, he's coming around and he's had a nice season.
He caught the first touchdown on they had 4th and 17 from the 30. And Saunders laid one out to him in the end zone. He just reached up and over 2 guys from Crestway. You know, caught a
Yeah.
30-yard touchdown pass on a 4th and 17. They went for it.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, nice weapon to have.
That's why over the years, and it's not my opinion, it's kind of true, accurate. It's hard to gauge these McDevitt quarterbacks because they've always had receivers. You could just throw it up for grabs.
Listen.
And I say that with respect to Saunders, okay? I really do. But there have been some quarterbacks that go through the McDevitt program that have gotten big-time Division I scholarships and haven't been able to get it done when they have to throw it into like a little target rather than just up for grabs.
I want to say this about Stone Saunders though. A couple of weeks ago in the wind, he threw a ball. I saw the film. He threw a ball into the end zone. I think it was Rico Scott caught it, and it was an over the shoulder in the wind bomb, and that ball was on a dime.
Yeah.
And there are very few quarterbacks in Pennsylvania that can make that
He's
throw.
different than what I was just explaining.
Very few. I mean, that's
And to your point, Joe and Bill, if I saw the statistics right, all those passes he's thrown this year, he only has 2 interceptions.
95 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on
He's
his
only a
career.
sophomore.
95
In 2
and 7.
years. Yeah,
Sophomore.
wow.
as a sophomore.
He is so
Yeah.
poised back there in the pocket. Like last week, he was just picking out his receivers and just, you know.
That's a testament to coaching. It is.
Yeah.
And it's natural for him. It's natural. I mean, it's natural. And then, again, let's get to the other side of the ball. Tyke Hayes last year took the state by storm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody was like, he was running circles around everyone. Kind of reminds me of the Sheffy kid this year at State College.
The Sheffy kid is very good.
He took
very
the
good.
world by storm. It's all like everybody's saying, who is this Hayes kid? Well, Al Clipper knew who he was. And he's fast. He's really fast, and he's good. But the thing about Hayes is he looks small in that uniform, but he's not. If you're up close to him, he's built like a rock. He can take a hit. Now, we're going to see what happens. Everybody knows. A lot of people know. So last week, he went out of the game, and he never saw the second half with an ankle injury. So, me personally, I don't like to see injuries. I hope he plays. I hope it was just one of those things that overnight it felt better, and then through the week he got better, and he's 100% tomorrow. I want to see him play. If he does, we're in for what we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, we're still in for that because John Tracy can pick up this space,
Mm-hmm.
and he can do it. And Brandon Banks at receiver, he's a good receiver. He can keep it going too. So they've got everything they need to have a successful game tomorrow night. Aliquippa and Bishop McDevitt.
I got some housekeeping, Aliquippa housekeeping before we finish. They have 770 wins all time.
Yep.
They're tied in the Whippeal. So if they win tomorrow, they're the number one Whippeal team in terms of win all time.
Yep.
They've never won back-to-back state titles. So when they lost the one time, they had won the year before. I'm pretty sure that's the way.
Right.
And
Yep.
they're also one of only 2 undefeated teams remaining with Westinghouse.
That's right.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, like, usually we have more than 2 undefeated teams here.
Yeah,
at the
you're right.
state championship games, and
Yep.
there's only 2 here. The other person I want to talk about is Donovan Walker. Donovan Walker, free safety, good football player. You do not want to have an off day with him in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
He is a very good player, and he can make a difference in the backfield on that defense. Nacron Crowder is another one. Jason McBride, Jace Williams. I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see this game. It's going to be a good one. I hope we're in for what we had last year. We had 6 good games last year.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what we're in for. Because even though, like, St. Joe's got blown out, it was a close game until the fourth quarter, and then Mount Lebanon just knocked the living daylights out of them. So that was really good, too. You're right, Aliquippa, just looking at my notes here at the article I wrote, they had a chance to do 2 in a row, and they did not.
Supposedly, they really have an axe to grind. They weren't happy with the PIAA for trying to move them up to 5A, and it was kind of their incentive. They kind of rallied around that, and they used to wear T-shirts. I don't know if they still do. Whatever A. I mean, they are truly a 1A enrollment school. playing 4A.
They are.
You know, and I heard it discussed that it's a poor transient town, okay? And the argument that they make, and who's to say whether it's true or not, is that they get these transfers because 80% of the people that live in that town are renters. I've seen it for years and years with Steelton and Harrisburg, where there's evictions. You move from Steelton right down the road to Harrisburg, back to Steelton, and it happens. And it's only because of kind of that socioeconomic thing. And so Aliquippa doesn't like that they've been penalized with this transfer thing when they can't really control it. Who wants to move to Aliquippa?
I get it. I mean, I get it. I do. I get all that. But I stick up for the PIAA in this because if they just start all of a sudden allowing this, it's going to happen everywhere.
You mean success? The success formula?
I mean, if we say, okay, well, you stay down because you're a transient area. We can't prove whatever, so that's fine. You're down. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have other schools in other areas saying, well, we're a transient area. We're a transient era.
It only happens in the poor schools, though.
Do you know how many poor schools there are? Farrell is in a poor area.
No, I'm just saying it doesn't happen with the Cumberland Valleys and the Central Dolphins.
Right.
Because those people, they don't rent. They buy their houses.
Right.
And they don't move. They buy the house because they want their kids to go to school there until they get out of school.
So I talked to a guy last week that's associated with the Aliquippa team before the game, the mayor. And he was like, he said, we get it. He said, I get it. I do. He said, the problem is, a lot of times these parents move out of Aliquippa thinking we're going to get it better, and then they come back. And they move out, and then they come back. And he said that costs us because that counts as a transfer because they went and tried this team out for a couple of years, didn't like it, and came back. So there's all kind of different aspects, but the number one thing is, yes, Aliquippa is a small school. They have 47 guys on their roster. For a single-A team, that's amazing. They've always been that way. You could literally say almost a third of the boys in their school play high school football.
118 boys.
Yeah.
Top 4 grades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost a half.
So, more than a third.
It's almost a half.
Well, more than a third.
Probably if you include all the freshmen, it probably is half.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's an amazing fact. But what a game that's going to be. That's the Aliquippa Bishop McDevitt. That's day one. Folks, that's day one. That's just day one.
Wow.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. But we're going to come back after a couple of words from our sponsors, and we're going to talk about day 2, which is another exciting day. And we're going to bring Ed Weaver up here. I think we'll trade Hollywood out for Ed Weaver this time. And Brian, so you go sit over there. We're going to bring it out here. And then Dan, you're going to take us to commercial. Take us to commercial, Dan.
The Cobalt Plus headset system delivers proven performance along with more users, more flexibility. That's why coaches across Pennsylvania trust Cobalt Plus. CoachCom makes tough headset systems for tough teams. We build headsets to help teams win. Call or click to learn more about Cobalt Plus from the proven leader in football communications.
At PaFootballNews.com, we've got you covered. If you're looking for the best coverage of high school football in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, check out PaFootballNews.com. From schedules to rankings, game coverage to Friday night scoreboard, live streams, and more, PA Football News is the one-stop shop for everything high school football in Pennsylvania. Follow us on Twitter at PaFootballNews and visit us at PaFootballNews.com. We got you covered.
There are 2 things in life that you can't outrun: taxes and death. Everything else you can outrun if you're fast enough. You can teach speed.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michael Sikorsky from the Funding Zone, the #1 fundraising company in the state of Pennsylvania. If you need help raising funds for your program, please contact us at 570-885-0900. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to Appalachian Brewing Company. We traded Hollywood out, and we brought Joe back up. Hollywood took a break. His voice was getting sore from not talking much. So, welcome back. Again, we're at App.Brewing Company. They kindly allowed us to just come over here and take over a portion of their facility and do our show. It's awesome here. What a great place. If you're ever in the Carlisle area, you definitely need to stop at App.Brewing Company. I can't wait till the show's over to try one or two of the bubbly things that they have here. And it's exciting. Joe, we get Joe's son here, right?
Grandson.
I mean. And so, yeah, grandsons are cool, aren't they?
Oh,
yeah, I'm just getting used to mine. But hey, let's talk about day 2, Saturday, guys, or Friday. Starting it off.
Southern Columbia.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to be here.
No.
That's kind of what you were talking about a couple of months ago.
Yeah. And then they got those 3 losses, and we all said, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what?
They got hot at the right time of the year when they needed to. I'll tell you that much.
Sign of a good team, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The old adage, you want to peak towards the end of the season and into playoffs, and
that doesn't
they
always happen.
certainly are doing it.
Ed's a D4 guy, so he knows them very well. He knows Southern Columbia very well.
Yeah.
From D4.
It was fun to watch them last week against Trinity. I mean, they took care of business, typical Southern fashion, just start fast and maintain. I mean, they just beat Trinity up, both sides of the ball right up front in the trenches, and welcome back Wes Barnes. I mean, he had a great game.
Joe
Brayden Wisloski had a great game. I mean, just phenomenal. It was a lot of fun to watch that game last week.
Yeah, and Joe, Trinity's not a bad team.
No, they just weren't kind of battle tested.
Right. Well, actually, I'll disagree with you. They were battle tested. They played some really whoppers of a team.
I mean,
they played Wyomissing. They played Roman Catholic.
That's one way of being battle tested. The other way is to have some
experience,
recall, and some recollection of being in some playoff games, and they had none of that.
Yes.
None of them did.
They're new. Jordan Hill.
Right.
Jordan Hill did a great job this year turning that team around.
Plus, I think with Trinity, and I watched them, I follow them pretty intimately. They had a very, very easy path to last week's game. Their district championship was DeLone Catholic, terrible. Anvil Cleona, terrible. Okay, and that's with all due respect. It's just they're bad. Yeah. And then they played, I forget who before.
Executive Education.
That was the second one, who was their second year of exist. They had really no marquee wins. They had win, all these postseason wins without a marquee win, and then they have to play Southern Columbia.
I would call by default executive and forget, Brian's seen them play. We should have Brian up here, but executive, I would call a marquee win just based on the fact that they beat some good team this year.
Yeah.
And they did a good job. So that was their marquee.
Okay.
That was a marquee team, but Trinity, I mean, you're right. They weren't ready yet. They're not ready.
They're young though.
They're young.
Yeah.
They're almost all back. They only lose, I think, 2 seniors or 3 seniors like that. So they'll be back. But we're not talking about Trinity right now, but we have to because we're talking about Southern Columbia, who came out of the gates. I mean, when they played Mount Carmel early in the year, they were missing Wes Barnes.
Yep.
Wes Barnes, one of your top football players.
Oh, big time. I mean, everybody was keying so big on Wisloski last weekend. A trap handoff, a dive handoff right to Barnes. And I mean, like we were talking earlier, I mean, he was breaking, 20, 30, 40-yard runs. They had a lot of, yardage called back off of holds and a couple blocks in the back. But I mean, other than that, I mean, he probably would have racked up almost 300 yards just himself. I mean, Trinity just didn't have an answer for him up front.
Yeah, and the big difference maker for Southern Columbia right now is defense.
Yeah. Defense. Isaac Carter at defensive end.
Isaac Carter,
soccer player.
Joe, you know that story, right, Joe?
Yeah.
You know that story. Brayden Wisloski
story.
is Southern Columbia's best defensive player. He is a monster on defensive end. He just started playing football 4 weeks ago. He'd never
I didn't know that story.
He was a soccer player. He was a soccer player who was their kicker. And
soccer season's over. He started defensive end.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I guess, talking to Dave Fegley last week after the game. We were having dinner, and we were sitting right next to the Black Diamond Sports guys, and they were telling us that story. He just said, "Hey, I want to help out," and they're like, "Well, what do you think?" He goes, "Put me anywhere," and they said, "Okay, here, try defensive end."
Yeah,
and now he's just a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he came off the edge so many times last week. I mean, I think he had at least one, maybe a sack and a half, but I mean, Trinity just didn't have an answer for him. They couldn't block him.
Yeah, their DC looked at him and said, "Hey, do you want to try a real position?"
Wow.
And he said, "Why not?"
He's always in the leg on him.
He was always in the weight room. That's the thing. He's a freak. Like, if you've seen his body, kid's a freak. He's a freak. And he goes out in defensive end the first time he hit somebody, and he was like, "Wow, that felt good."
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, "Wow, that felt good."
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring your grandfather his dessert. Look at this right here. Hey, hold it up for the camera. Put it up. Look at that.
There we go.
What do you got there,
That's
Joe?
a root beer float.
Root beer float.
And I will take the rest of my root beer too, buddy.
Yep. From the Appalachian Brewing Company. He wants the rest of his root beer too. Yeah. So, hey, service, man. That's it.
There you go.
All right.
Well, don't
Is that their own brew? Is that their own brew? Yep, it is.
Looks like a, yeah.
Appalachian root beer.
And Dom Fedorov is one of their best players too. But
well, don't forget they're missing their best defensive player. He's been out all year. Garrett
Garcia.
Yeah. He got hurt in the first play of the year, tore his ACL, and he's
opening kickoff.
He's done for the year. So just think how tough that defense would be if he was in there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Or would Isaac Carter have gotten a shot?
Right. Yeah.
Would they have been desperate enough to offer a soccer player a defensive end spot? Jim Roth, man. Yeah, you mentioned Dave Fegley down there, Ed. Dave Fegley covers Southern Columbia for us every week. He works for Black Diamond Sports Network. They'll be here this week.
Yep.
On Friday, they'll be here. And what's amazing is, and Dave Fegley said all the great teams that Jim Roth has ever had. He said, this is probably, and I agree with him, this is probably his best coaching job ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, just the changes that they've had to make, not necessarily the offensive side of the ball. I mean, obviously, you had to replace Barnes there while he was, banged up a little bit, but just, from the defensive side, I mean, you lose, an all-state first team, middle linebacker in Garcia, first play of the season. You're like, what do we do? But it's retool, reload, and I mean that's and that's what I don't think there's anybody better in the state right now doing that than Jim Roth.
And talking to Jim Roth, he said that's what was missing. He said our run defense is why we lost 3 games.
Yeah.
He said our run defense, we couldn't stop the run.
Let me say this about Jim Roth, and I'm a numbers guy. He's coached in over 550 games, and he hasn't even lost anywhere close to 100 games.
No.
He's 483, 67, and 2.
Yeah.
He's like one of the top, I think, 4 or 5. I'm not sure about that. Active coaches in all of the United States.
Yeah.
17 or 16 of those losses did not come in the first 3 years he was there.
Yeah. And you people out there, maybe don't know this. I did an article on Jim Roth a few years ago, but before he took over, they were that close, the board, to dropping football and picking up soccer at Southern Columbia. And look what one guy.
And now they have both.
Yeah, I was just going to say, why can't you do both?
And now they have both.
Well, that was back in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah. So, they were that close. And it's just, 22 times they've been in this game.
It's just unreal.
Unbelievable.
22 times they've been in this game. They're going for number 12. Win number 12. And it's just, I remember early on.
Half of his coaching years, he's been in the state championship.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
I know. And you can go way back to the beginning of his coaching career is where he started doing that. Like 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah.
They made it in. I remember going to those games, traveling with my hometown, and we go support them in Mount Carmel, too.
What hometown? Where are you from?
East of Bloomsburg. From Berwick, but we used to follow them, and I can remember the Rochesters and everybody beating up on them, and sending, and we would always be like, when are you gonna, be like your big brother here? And
they took some lumps early on, but now they're returning the favor to basically everybody in the state.
They used to play some good games against Steel High too.
Yep.
And that was just kind of when Southern Columbia was transitioning over to actually winning big games.
Steel High was the last team to beat them in the.
They sent Steel High packing a couple times,
Yeah.
you know, with some tough losses.
But who was the last team to beat them in the state championship?
Was it Steel High?
Yeah. Wasn't it?
No.
No, who was it?
No, because Steel
It's
High.
Southern Columbia.
Yeah.
It was Steel Valley.
It's Steel Valley.
Steel
that's what it
Valley.
was.
Yeah,
Steel
that
Valley.
was,
Had the wrong steel.
Yeah, that was with Fleming and Halliday and all
It's
those
when
kids.
they were all freshmen
Yep.
and
All Buck was a sophomore.
undersized kids,
Yeah.
but they were good enough to start.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. I had the wrong steel. Steel Valley. Yeah. So, hey, let's go to the other side of the ball.
Yeah, let's talk Westinghouse.
Let's talk Morcillo. Let's talk numbers for Morcillo.
Quite a quarterback. 2,844 yards passing, 41 touchdowns. And he also can run. He's run for 810 yards and 18 touchdowns. That's a dimension I'm not sure Southern Columbia has faced yet.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, I think last week they maybe threw a whopping 3 passes.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you know, they really didn't have to. They didn't really get, you know, behind the sticks all that often. You know, they did on a couple plays, but again, you know, Wisłowski 20+ yard runs, Barnes 20+ yard runs. They didn't need to throw the ball.
And when you say that, they haven't faced anything like that. I'll add of their classification. They did face a Danville team who's similar,
But I don't think Danville has the speed
I don't think
Westinghouse
they're as fast and athletic. I mean,
they have a wide receiver, Sinceri Smith, 40 catches, 1,300 yards, and 22 touchdowns.
Wow.
Now, can Wisłowski, who's a state sprinter champ, right? He might be able to stay with him.
I think so. Yeah.
But they have other guys. This should be a tremendous game.
oh, I think it's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah.
I really do. You know, their running back is also very good for Westinghouse. He's racked up some yards. Joe, what do you got?
Khalil Taylor.
Yeah.
I don't have his stats.
He's over 1,800 yards rushing.
Yeah. Wow.
So add that to what we already know about Morcillo.
Yeah.
And they're a very athletic team. They're
big.
They're big. They're very big, and they're strong. This is a team that Southern Columbia has not seen.
Yeah.
Remember, this is a team that took down the mighty Farrell easily. And Farrell
beat an undefeated Steel Valley team easily.
Yeah. Farrell was the anointed one.
Yeah.
They were.
They were the anointed one. We all said it. All the meeting members out there, we all said, once Farrell gets through their schedule and starts in the playoffs, nobody has a chance. They're going to and they're going to beat Southern Columbia. We all said it. Westinghouse said no.
Yeah.
No. And the nice thing is, and Phil knows this about their coach. The coach does things cool. The kids have to dress properly. They're not allowed to cuss, or they get, you know,
They have to do push-ups.
Yep.
No
The Westinghouse
cussing.
coach.
Yep.
Yeah. They have to dress right. Football
Not the
games,
game.
they wear blazers and ties. They respect everybody. There's no yeah and nah. It's yes or no
That's
to an
impressive,
adult.
yeah.
And he has
Good on
done.
him.
They brought their grade point average to 3.2. My hat's off to that coach. I want to
love
shake
that.
his hand
That's awesome.
tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach Green, Coach Dante Green.
Dante
That's
Green is quite a guy, and he's only been there 4 years. And you would think that's turning kids away doing this stuff in the city of Pittsburgh, which, by the way, Westinghouse is only the second District 8 city Pittsburgh team ever to make it to the state finals. Perry, the other one.
Yep.
But you would think that would push it away. Well, when he took over, they only had 20-some kids. In 4 years, they have 55 kids on the roster.
Isn't that amazing?
So
I
almost,
saw.
almost tripled it in 4 years. And
Yeah.
I think
graduating class.
in return, the payoff for the kids, for the players, is that he allows them to play very loosely. He allows them to really kind of carry on and have a lot of fun out there. Not in an arrogant way, not in a rubbing way,
Right.
but really to just go out there and have fun.
Exactly,
And,
yeah.
You know, I said carry on. I don't even mean carry on, but you know what I'm saying.
Conduct yourself.
Yeah, just really go out there and be loose and have a blast.
That
You
takes
know?
the pressure off you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not worried that you're going to make a mistake. You're going to get your head
Right.
chewed off, or you're. Yeah.
I was listening to a
That's awesome.
podcast. It was a Whitfield podcast, and they said that some of the opposition has looked at it as, well, they're kind of rubbing it in a little bit because they're just so loose in there. And he said, not at all.
That's the way you should play.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be uptight.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're very easygoing team. Alex Fidrzewski, who I wish was here tonight, he covered every single game they played, except for one. He didn't go to the Berlin game, but he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because they just totally dismantled a really good Berlin team. I mean, they just wiped them off the face of the earth, if you can say that. Westinghouse at 56-0 or something, or 6, something like that it was.
Oh, yeah.
Something
59-7 or something like that.
They
Yeah.
destroyed them.
I do.
Berlin is a team that Berlin did not have any points scored on them until the 9th week of the season.
They scored more points on Berlin in that one game than they gave up that whole season. That's
It's crazy.
Right.
Wow.
Joe, it's not selfie time, Joe. You don't pay attention to what Dan's doing.
It's always selfie time, Billy.
That's right.
So, I mean, this is a team, and we're talking about what they've done. Things may change. The PIAA changed. They tabled a decision today. I'm reading this off Chris Harlan from the Trib Lives Twitter. He was at the meeting today, and I think this has a lot to do with what happened at Butler this year and the situation there.
District 10.
They wanted to play in 7-10. So the PIAA wants to nip that in the bud and say, So they tabled this decision today. Teams from member schools are eligible to participate in PIAA district championship tournaments and contests only in the district in which they are located under its section, or under this section of their bylaws. Teams from District 8 may participate in the district championship tournaments of District 7 if agreed upon by those two districts. So that would change things there.
I heard there's only 5 football programs in District 8 right now.
And
I think there's 6.
they're all,
There's not many.
I think all but 2 are in different classifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in
They're all in
except
different
for 2 of them. Right.
classifications except for
Does
2.
Perry exist anymore? Perry
Yes.
traditional?
They still,
Okay.
yeah, they've really fallen off.
Yeah,
though.
it's not as traditional as it used to be.
They
Not
used
in
to be.
football anyway. But so that could change things for Westinghouse in their program. I mean, imagine, a Westinghouse or a Brashear coming through the District 7 playoffs. And you and I have talked about that.
Yeah, yeah.
That we think that District 8 or District 7 should
It's only
take
5
It,
teams.
it
yeah.
makes sense.
It's one team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one team in each district, in each classification. Why
Yep.
not, right?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
What's that hurt?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
So yeah, I mean, all this we've talked about Westinghouse. I mean, like just a phenomenal. I mean, they were close last year, and credit to Shane Lux, one of our great reporters. And when we did our preseason rankings, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have gone, but go to PaFootballNews.com and check out our ranking section. You want to look at this week's rankings and then go back to the one that says preseason. We hammered it, guys.
Good.
We nailed it.
Wonderful.
We nailed it. We missed on 2 teams.
That's
Union
awesome.
and Pine Richland, Joe. They're the only 2 teams we missed on. The rest of them are right where they were when we started.
Who do we have number 1 in single A?
In single A?
I think it's Steel High, right?
Steel High? Who do we have number 1 in double A? Westinghouse?
Either Westinghouse
They played
or
each
Southern.
other.
One of the 2.
The second game of the season, I believe.
39-18.
And I think that was Westinghouse's closest game all year.
That was 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
too.
Wow.
Yeah. So something to think about.
Yeah. And then we have Bell Vernon, Aliquippa.
Yeah.
We had Central Valley in there. I mean, and these teams are all like, that's where they started. And
Guys killed it.
St. Joe's Prep didn't move all year.
St. Joe's Prep stayed where they were all year.
That's the shocker.
Imhotep dropped a little bit because they lost the game handily, and then they struggled for a week or 2.
What a tough schedule
And then
they
came
played,
back
though, at
up.
least early on. Oh, my God, there's
Yeah.
5 or 6 games.
Yeah, they played a tough
Wow.
schedule. So we knew they'd come back, and the same as other, but they were on point. So great job to my rankings.
Well
team.
done.
We meet Sunday nights, and we go over it with a fine-tooth comb. And turned out the way it was.
People drive to Billy's house from all over the state.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, everybody comes to my house.
You feed everybody?
That's
No.
false. They come to my house via Zoom.
We Zoom them in.
Yeah, that's it. So,
I was going to say, count me in if you were feeding people.
so that's Friday morning's game.
Ranked teams for food.
1 o'clock kickoff. Southern Columbia, Westinghouse. You can tune in to PA Football News for the pregame report at 12:40. Go to PaFootballNews.com. and then we'll have our halftime and our post-game reports on that game. We're going to take a break. We're going to hear from some sponsors, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about a resurrection and a return.
That's right.
So right after these messages,
I like
we'll
that.
talk about
return.
I like
that.
that.
We'll be right back.
CoachComm is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communications. For over 30 years, we've built our business on innovation and winning, with the goal to equip your team with the best coaching communication available. 97% of all FBS programs and thousands of high schools and colleges across the U.S. choose CoachComm because CoachComm has the experience and the know-how to provide the very best in technology and winning solutions.
Hey, yo!
When you step out on that field, everyone is equal. Talent, it means nothing. They may be more talented than you, but if you show more heart, if you show more focus, if you just decide this day that you will never accept second place to anyone, if you do that, if you all do that, there's no one we cannot defeat. And there's no one that will want to challenge us ever again. So do you want to go out there like every other player, like every other team? Or do you want to stand up this day to make this day count? Make it count.
Welcome back to Appalachian Brewing Company. Billy Splain, Joe Gilloway, Edo Weaver down there in Pro Time, Phil Myers. We're talking championship football. We're talking 5A right now. We've got a resurrection and we've got a return. Phil, tell us about the resurrection.
The resurrection, Pine Richland. The Rams started out the year 1-3. And as you know, the last couple years, they've been in a little bit of turmoil with things going on at the school. They win a championship and the coach gets fired. And so they've been in disarray since they won the championship, and started out 1-3. But then the coaching staff made a change. They took the running back, Ryan Palmieri, and moved him to quarterback. And when they did that, things started clicking, and they've won every game except for the Erie Cathedral Prep game by double digits, 11 in a row. Nobody thought, I'm not even sure Pine Richland thought that after starting 1-3 that they'd be in the state championship game. But I will tell you, I've seen them the last 2 weeks. They are tough. How they ever lost 3 games is beyond me, the way they're playing now. They got big linemen. Palmieri is a stud at quarterback. They got Ethan Pilar, running back. They got a wide receiver who is one of the fastest guys in the state. The coach told me that he knew they were having problems. The team just needed guidance. They had the talent. They just needed to get the kids in the right position and get some guidance. So that's the story.
It's amazing. It's an absolutely amazing story. You think about it, how they started out compared to, and they are playing lights out football right now.
They are.
And after they were 1-3, their next 2 games were Pitt Central Catholic and
that's North
Allegheny.
Oh wow!
So how close were they? And up being 1-4 or 1-5.
That's right. And out North Allegheny until they got beat by State College, that was their only loss all year.
Right.
And Pine Richland beat them rather easily.
But you figure, okay, they've won their last 11, and 4 of those games were Pitt Central Catholic, North Allegheny, Erie Prep, and then Cocalico. Let's throw them in. They beat Cocalico last week, who's a pretty darn good team. I watched them. I watched Exeter Township play earlier this year. they were phenomenal, and
Calico was a good
dissected
team.
them. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that Pine Richland didn't start 1-3 and then just play a bunch of chumps.
No,
they
that's
had a
right.
lot of really challenging teams.
Well, in the Whippeal Championships, they beat Upper St. Clair, who everybody thought would beat Pine Richland, and Pine Richland beat them 34-3.
Wow.
So, unbelievable turnaround.
It really is.
I can't think of one like that before.
It really is.
During a year.
Right.
I mean, I know Southern Columbia turned it around, but they didn't start out 1-3.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they kind of interspersed
And
there.
they got healthy. Southern
And they
Columbia.
got some
It helped.
healthy.
Yeah, it helped that way.
Yeah, and for a team out 5A in the Whippeals traditionally is pretty difficult.
Oh, there's some excellent
There's some
teams.
good teams out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to beat some really good teams to get where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you take like teams like who was it, Upper St. Clair?
Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, good football team this year, and they didn't even get a chance. So for Pine Richland to get there, it's just amazing. Coach Ladon, just an amazing coach. I mean, he's been to the state championships before. Unfortunately, he was here with Penn Hills back when Dante Cephas and all those guys were playing
2018.
That was my first year coming down. Yeah.
And
Freezing cold, and he's wearing shorts. I love that.
Yeah.
He'll be wearing shorts again on Friday.
He's laid back.
I can guarantee you. And Joe Gilloway, do you know he is a MIT type professor? He is one of the smartest people in the country.
Who's that?
John Ladon.
Coach.
The coach for Pine Richland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very unassuming.
Yes.
Very laid back.
Mm-hmm.
Very much Carnegie Mellon.
Right.
That's what he is. He's incredibly intelligent. Works for the government. I can't say anymore, or he'll come after me.
Hey, a couple more facts I wanted to before we move on to Imhotep, Bill. I wanted to talk about their defense.
Yeah.
34 sacks, 120 tackles for losses.
Wow.
Joe Perry on defense, a huge contributor. And their line, they have a junior lineman who's getting all kinds of offers now. Ryan Corey.
Ryan Corey is an animal. Watch him tomorrow.
Oh my!
I can't wait.
Calico was double teaming him, and he was still making plays.
Was
They're
he
blowing
really?
him up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just a really good. I've been following him. Help a lot of these kids out with recruiting. I've been following him all year long, and Ryan Corey has just, as the season has gone on, he has gotten better. I mean, like you can see it in his film. He has gotten much better. He's fast too. He's not slow. He's fast.
He's fast.
Yeah.
He'll chase you down too. He doesn't give up. Most normal kids play goes to the other side or something.
Yeah.
They
He's
just
going
kind of
after
stand around and watch.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
going after him.
Good.
Yeah, he's a good football player.
Do you know the last 3 5A Whippeal championship games involved Penn Trafford
Yep.
and Pine Richland? 2 years ago, Pine Richland won and then won the state championship. Last year, Penn Trafford beat Pine Richland and then won the state championship. So Pine Richland could follow suit, and it could be 3 years in a row.
That'd be
Could be.
interesting.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah,
It would be.
it would be. Their opponent is not easy to beat, though.
No. Especially when you had some teams. I really thought Exeter was going to had a chance to win it all this year in 5A, and they lost to Cocalico, but that Governor Mifflin team last year, they lost to Exeter Township, and so some of the 5A teams that looked like they were going to be there in the end just haven't been the last 2 years, and here's your Penn Trafford and Pine Richland. So
Yeah, I mean, and then on the other side of the bracket, Imhotep.
A little bit of speed there.
A little bit of speed.
We saw them the first game of the year against McDivitt, didn't we, Bill?
Yeah, that was week 1.
Week 1.
Yeah, what a football team against McDevitt. Just loaded with athletes all over the field. Mikal Davis, a quarterback. He's very athletic. He's a threat to run the ball. He can take off on you. Now, here, think about this. This Imhotep team that was here last year that a lot of people thought was going to run away with a state championship. They graduated Eni White, Maurice Beverly, Eni at Texas A&M, Maurice Beverly at Westchester, who should have been at Penn State, Giovanni Graham at Westchester, Keon Wiley at Penn State, Trey McLeod moved over. Their best running back went to Cheltenham this year, and Amir Stinnett went to Rutgers. How do you replace that? You replace it with Samaj Bridgman, who came over from Archbishop Wood, and you have Jashir Whittington on defense, Zahir Mathis, David Johnson, and Mizir Mayo. Those guys are all, when you see them tomorrow, Joe, you're going to be like, wow, these guys are huge. Ramir Stewart, senior, he's being recruited by Nebraska, Jackson State. Well, yeah, I don't know if he's being recruited by Jackson State now. He'll be recruited by Colorado. yeah, because Deion Sanders moving out there. Kenny Wosley, Mikal Davis, Jabri Coleman, Corey Downing. Just an amazing lineup, an amazing football team. Speed everywhere.
Jabri Wallace Coleman. He's a University of Georgia recruit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, they are just loaded up front.
So Pine Richland is not going to have an easy game, and I'm not going to bent the ranch, but if they do win, I don't think they're going to win by double digits.
Right, yeah.
But you could say the same thing. If they lose, they're not going to lose by double digits.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Imhotep, Devin Johnson, doing a great job. Mark Schmidt, their offensive coordinator last year, has moved on. He went over to Upper Dublin, who ironically was in a battle with Imhotep until the last minute of the game last week.
Yeah.
And, that was a tough one. And when we ranked Imhotep number 1 to start the year, they lost their game. We dropped them down a couple, and they came back up through. We moved Upper Dublin up there to number 1. And that was a battle. I mean, they jumped out Imhotep to a 21-0 lead. And in the fourth quarter, Upper Dublin had a chance to win that game and had a turnover.
How good must they be, Upper Dublin?
Yeah, they're a very good football team. Well, don't forget, they had Imhotep's offensive coordinator.
Okay, I didn't know that, but they have to be so good to be up 2 touchdowns and then only lose by 1. You just said it all.
Colin O'Sullivan is a really great quarterback. What a year. We had him on one of our shows when we were down at McGurk's. I got to thank McGurk's. Hey, we're going to run down our sponsors before long here, buddy. We're here at Appalachian Brewing Company. We're talking championship football. We're talking state title games. Right now we're talking about the resurrection and return of
Imhotep.
Imhotep and is returning, and Pine Richland resurrected. But Imhotep, they just come right at you, man. I mean, they're big. Excuse me. They're big, they're strong, and they're athletic, and they don't hold anything back. They come right at you, and they come and get you. And
what a matchup.
Their offense has gotten better throughout the year. When we saw them, their offense was kind of sputtery, but Mikal Davis has made some improvements, and they're doing really good.
Yeah, and their defense is what it is. It's like they've only given up 88 points, which is like 4th in the state or something like that.
And that's after 14 games now.
Well, I don't think they've played quite that
you're
many.
Right.
But
they get some weeks off.
But if you look at their schedule, like you mentioned, who they played early on in the year, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, some regional teams
They
outside.
played McDevitt. They played Archbishop Spalding. They played Malvern Prep.
Yeah.
I mean, they played
was that
Northeast.
a 9-6 game, the Malvern Prep?
Yeah, Northeast they played. I mean, they started off with some tough teams.
Right. Playing cupcakes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they barely beat a good Roman Catholic team.
Roman Catholic.
Has anybody at these 2 tables, Brian, you included here, not spent over the last couple of days going, what a bunch of great football games were in store?
I mean, I'm still thinking back to last year. I mean, just the short time that I've been coming down here, last year's playoff games, 5 out of the 6, were decided in the last, minute, 45 seconds, 30 seconds.
Or at least the middle of the fourth quarter.
Out some of these games. You ask me who I think's going to win, I'll say one team 1 minute, and 5 minutes later I'll say, hey, you know what, I think it's actually going to be.
Doing stats up in the press box and listening, to the guys, out in Western PA covering those, those teams, and just how animated they get and how passionate they are about covering, just those different games. It was so much fun. Not only to listen to them call the game, as it's unfolding, as you're seeing it, but just watching the game. I mean, that 5A game last year between, Imhotep and Penn Trafford was probably one of the, the most fun games out of the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Brian just ordered us dinner, so we're going to come back in 10 minutes after this break. We're going to go help. So, I mean, unbelievable games, Joe. We're sitting
food
here
over there.
I know. We're at Appalachian Brewing Company. What an amazing place. The food they're bringing out here is amazing. I guess we should have told Brian we're ordering pizza and bringing it back to the hotel. But
Yeah, he'll still eat it.
that's all right. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, just amazing games. I can't wait to see Imhotep again. Build a great relationship with the coaches and staff and players from Imhotep. There was a misunderstanding last week. Pro Time, said something in one of our prediction things. Listen, he and I together are two of the most. Actually, I could probably include Joe in on this. So, guys and Imhotep players that you guys are all watching, you have no freaking clue what you're talking about when it comes to social media and all that stuff. Because we're technologically defunct.
Oh yeah, I'm bad.
I wouldn't be on Twitter if it wasn't for high school football.
So if you were offended by something we put out there, believe us, we don't know why. And the reason it goes out there is not because of what you might think. It's just because we're old and we think things are funny sometimes.
I'm old. Yeah, that's all we can.
So don't be
that's all we
offended
can
by
say.
us. I'm not going to say what happened. You guys know what happened, but hopefully we get past that. But great relationship with them. I've got a really great relationship with John Ladon when he was at Penn Hills and now at Pine Richland. So I'm excited to see. I get real excited to see the coaches here too. But, that's just going to be a fireball of a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that game.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
So that's Pine Richland and Imhotep with a 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday night, the 5A state championship final. So exciting times. Hey, listen, we're at Appalachian Brewing Company. We're going to hear from a couple of our sponsors, and then we're going to come back, and I want to run down a list of our sponsors for the year, and I want to thank them. So we'll be right back. We're going to talk about 3A football. So we'll see you after these messages from our sponsors.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports. Designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors, Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with Ref Pay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
Welcome back to Appalachian Brewing Company. We're here live. Joe Gilloway, Pro Time. Hello, we got Brian Hollywood Tashinsky, Dan the Man over here on my left. You can't see him. He's hiding. He said he has something like a face for radio or something like that. I'm not sure, whatever.
My mom says that too.
Yeah.
About him?
No.
You don't have a headset on. You can't hear all this stuff. Sorry, Dan. We're just picking on you.
You'll catch it on the replay.
Hey, we're here at Appalachian Brewing Company right down the road from Cumberland Valley High School and a football stadium where the state championships are going to be held starting tomorrow morning. And we're going to talk about the 3A football game. But right now I want to do something special. I have a awesome set of sponsors on our website. And I want to run down and I want to thank each one of them. Number one, I got to thank Center Wisp. Center Wisp keeps me online. Ed down there will tell you it is way better than what I used to have. Center Wisp is a local. They're in the valley, up in Penns Valley. And if you're in the Penns Valley watching this right now, you got to hook up with Center Wisp to get your internet because there is no better service. So Center Wisp next. The gentleman right down here on the end, Ed Weaver, he owns a company called Circle W Sports. They do sports scores, statistics analysis. He builds websites. We've got all kind of new stuff. We got a new app coming out in the winter, in January or February.
And live stats all weekend.
He's going to do the live stats for us all weekend long on PaFootballNews.com. We're doing live stats. We'll put the link to that out on Twitter and Facebook and up on our website as well. So Ed Weaver does all kind of. We're going to make a proposal. We're going to hopefully, maybe someday make a run at building a website for the PIAA to remodel their website a little bit. Bring it up 20 years.
We're been doing District 4 for the last 5 years. I mean, their traffic
Ed does a lot of
roof.
District 4 stuff. He's from Wellsboro, up in God's country. Beautiful place to live.
One county over.
District 3 needs help too.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'll help them.
Terribly.
Yep, they got a brand new website, District 3. They just don't use it. But so Circle W Sports, thanks a lot for that, Ed. Thanks for everything you do for us. Coach Com's been with me for a long time. Just a phenomenal sponsor. If you want to communicate on your sidelines, you've got to be hooked up with Coach Com. They are the number one headset and communication set in the country. Coach Com. Want to thank one of the places that hosted our show this year, Crimson House in Pottsville. What a great place that was. Nice little place. Dan was there with me. And we had Carly Fager in there with us, one of our interns. Great place. If you're ever looking for something to do different, head up to Pottsville, Joe, and check out the Crimson House. Awesome food, awesome place. Real football, sportsy atmosphere, real nice place. Intimate place, too. This is a place that I'm going to be the first show of next year. And Joe, you're going to come up with me. I hope so. And we're going to, every year we open up the show or the year with the season rollout coaches cookout. This year, Old Forge Pub and Eatery in Berwick, Pennsylvania. Mike.
Bring bail money.
Mike wants to do something awesome. So he's bringing in a couple of pigs. He wants to have a big tournament. He's already started working on this. Huge place, outdoor, right across the street from
such a cool venue.
It is a great venue. It's an awesome place, right across the street from historic Crispin Field in Berwick. And we want to do it big. We're going to invite coaches and football players from all over this. It's going to be an all-day cookout thing. We're going to invite media members and everybody to be there. It's just going to be. It's a fun day. It's the day after HEDAC ends. It's a Sunday, and we're going to be there all day. We'll be on and off the air all day probably. We're not going to try and do a marathon 8-hour show. We'll come on and we'll come off and we'll come on. We'll set some times or something like that. Joe and I, we'll work out.
We'll hold up, all right.
Yeah.
We'll check out the details.
Right.
We'll work out the details on that.
Now I have to get the southern coaches to come north.
Yep.
Like you've been getting the northern coaches to
That's
come
right.
south.
They'll come up.
But you have a great relationship.
I already said Jerry Onchak and what's his name over at Central Dolphins said they'd come up.
McNamee. What's his name? You guys got a state championship.
Yeah, McNamee.
Big school.
I talked to 450 coaches in 3 weeks. All right. So I want to thank them. The Funding Zone, of course. The Funding Zone, one of my best sponsors ever. You can't go wrong with the Funding Zone. Go Route. Got to thank Go Route, the guys out there. Technology you wear on your waist it cuts your prep time in half on your scout team, and it's just an amazing piece of equipment.
That was a lot of fun to to use the Big 33 practices this year. That was really cool to see how all that came about. The coaches being able to use it, making adjustments. I think Coach Humbert from Bell Vernon had that thing all set up, ready to go, and just plug and play, and it's easy. It's really cool.
We're going to talk about Coach Humbert here.
Yeah,
you got some good sponsors, Billy.
Yeah,
some
Go
cool,
Route,
like fun sponsors.
I want to thank this place right here, man. Mr. G's Sports Bar. Old George. What a great time we had there, right?
That was a fun afternoon.
No, Joe and I went back.
Oh, did you? The cookout show that we did this time of year, that was a lot of fun.
We went back, and I just took my grandson there a few weeks ago. It was his first kind of. He likes the Philadelphia Eagles,
right?
And that's an Eagles bar. I'll tell you what, the crowd was just loud but respectful. Just a great place to watch a football game. So hats off to George and his wife Amy. They do a wonderful job.
Yeah, they do an awesome job.
Yeah.
Great sponsors. We love it. Parma Pizza, one of my best sponsors. We did 3 shows at 3 of his places. Anthony Sodasani, he's the head coach at
Mount Union.
Mount Union over there, and he's just a phenomenal person. Their pizza is second to none. Penns Valley Dental. I just got my teeth cleaned last week. Penns Valley Dental. Thanks, Doc. Shoe Stacks up in Shenandoah Valley. How do you say it, Brian? Shenandoah. Shenandoah. In the Shenandoah Valley. Shoe Stacks, welding and hydraulic hose parts and stuff like that. Thanks, Shoe Stack, for coming on. Of course, we got to thank Turf Tank. I've been trying to get land Turf Tank for a long time, and we got him. Welcome aboard, Turf Tank. I hope you enjoyed a ride, and I hope you enjoy what we're doing this week and all the playoffs, Glad to meet all of you guys. I can't wait to meet you guys. So, Turf Tank, got to thank Rob Oshinsky and Victory Fitness. What a great place. If this is, we just talked to Rob the other day, and I talk about recruiting all the time, and I tell the kids all the time, right now you should be working out. Go find a place like Victory Fitness or a place like Vapor Trail 247. Work out, train. Do not go to camps. Do not go to combines. Don't do any of that crap. Just work out.
Play some high school sports.
Mm-hmm. Your body is not ready to these guys, these camps out there, and I'm going to go off on a little recruiting rant real quick. There's a lot of camps out there that you are athlete and all these other places. I get it. They want to make money. That's it. But you know what? Here's the bottom line, and there is a college coach who will disagree with me. You should not be going to a football camp or a combine right now. Not until your body is trained and ready to go. Not to mention, a college coach cannot see you. So why bother going if you're not performing and you cannot perform after you just went through a grind from July through November, most of them.
Yeah.
Your body is not ready to go train
Depending on
with
what
these
position
guys.
you play on the field, you go through about 50 mini car wrecks a week. So
Let's talk football, guys. The 3A game on Saturday at 1 o'clock, they changed that this year. It was 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Now it's 1 and 7 again. I don't know why they did that.
I don't know.
But anyway, we got Bell Vernon area. They got a pretty good running back. They're playing Newman Gretty, who has some pretty good athletes of their own. But let's talk about that running back from Bell Vernon.
Quentin Martin, he only has 1,208 yards rushing and 22 touchdowns. But if you see him play, he's also their leading receiver.
He reminds me of Shady McCoy.
Yeah, they have other weapons.
Pretty good.
And then if you look at the schedule they played some awful tough teams at the beginning of the year. Once they got into AAA, they've been rolling, and they got their line. They're just good all around. But Quentin Martin, he is the number one 2024 recruit out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, wow.
He's the number 3 athlete in the country, and he's the number 15 overall recruit in the country as a junior.
What was that number again? How many yards?
He had 1,208 yards.
And he's playing injured all year.
Wow.
Yeah. He's playing injured all year. He's nursing a leg injury.
And we were talking to some people, too. He also plays defense, defensive back. And they say he literally pretty much takes away a third of the field. He's that good of a coverage guy that his area, he takes that away. So about a third of the field is taken away if whatever side he's on or whoever he's covering. So he's quite an athlete, and it'll be fun. I've never seen him play. It'll be fun to see him.
Yeah, it will be fun. I haven't seen him either. I know our guys from the Backyard Podcast guys, Nate Gorell and them, they've covered him a couple times this year. And talking to Nate, let's be honest and call it like it is. Quentin Martin goes, so go to Leopards. But what I love about the Leopards is their home field. The beach.
That's
I love
awesome.
it. They have sand-colored turf, Joe.
Sand-colored.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture of it. That's pretty cool.
It makes awesome pictures. But as Quentin goes, so goes Bell Vernon.
Yeah, I mean, and they got another running back, Jake. Getico.
Yep.
He's a tough kid too. 711 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns. So again, so as Quentin Martin goes, so goes Bell Vernon. But they're not a one-trick pony either.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
And their quarterback, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Locks or
That's how I would go.
Yeah, Braden Locks, he's come onto his own the last few games. He has almost 1,000-yard passing, and he can run. He's run for 400 and some yards and 8 touchdowns. So again, they can hit you a variety of ways, but their defense is pretty good. Their line plays pretty good, and they got a star D1 running back.
If I had to pick a weakness, I would say their defense a little bit. They've given up some points this year.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, but just enough. They give enough.
Enough to lose. Yeah. But you figured 2 of their, what do they have, 3 losses? 2 of their losses
were the bigger teams.
Were the bigger teams, but they only scored 1 touchdown in those games.
Yeah.
So,
now they've just moved down from 4A to 3A.
Right, they did.
Which is kind of a little bit of a reprieve, I'd say, with Aliquippa and Thomas Jefferson.
Right, because they probably wouldn't be here if they were still on 4A.
Yeah, we might be looking at Avonworth or Elizabeth Forward.
Billy, will you allow me to throw a trivia question out for the crew?
Yes.
When was Bell Vernon's last WPIAL District 7 title championship?
I knew the answer to that. I can't remember.
What year? Okay, now that's remember this is a pretty elite high school football program.
Yeah, it's been a while.
1995.
I was going to say in the 90s.
27 years since they've won. And again, it's a tribute to how tough those 4A.
Joe, do you know when Union won their last WPIAL?
1959.
Yeah. And they haven't appeared since 1973.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so. I mean, I love to see. It's fun to see really good teams and players, but I love to see the Unions and the Bell Vernons and things like that. It's great for the school. I'll bet they're well represented here.
For every Steel High, St. Joe's Prep, and Southern Columbia this year, we have some of those teams also. And this is this game will produce a first-time PIAA state champion, no matter who wins.
That's right.
That's right. However, on the other side of the ball, it won't be the head coach's first time. Coach Albie Crosby, has been a head coach or an assistant head coach on 3.
Is that right?
Now 3 different teams that have played in the state championship game.
That's crazy.
Newman Goretti is one of them. He was here with Imhotep at the state championship games. Phil, do you know the third?
He's an assistant coach somewhere. St. Joe's?
Nope.
No.
Archbishop Wood.
Archbishop Wood.
He was the assistant head coach. So, associate head coach.
Okay.
So, that's 3 different teams. Albie Crosby has been to the state championship.
Talk about experience.
I think he's probably the only coach that I know of that's been with 3 different teams in the state title as a head coach. I count associate head coach as head coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, John LaDon this year is going to be, he's number 2.
That's 2, right?
Yeah,
that's 2. But how many? That's an amazing number.
Yeah, you'd have to do some research.
Now, Newman Goretti, we started them off ranked high in the rankings, and they lost a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
I went down and watched them play. I went to Philadelphia. I did a little tour of Philadelphia. Went to watch them play Bonner Prendy, and it was kind of a close game, but not. Newman Goretti made a lot of mistakes. The quarterback made a lot of mistakes. Threw some balls that were just like, I was honest with Albie, and I said, Albie, if you don't fix that quarterback, you're not going anywhere. Now, Albie and I talk all the time. He called me beginning of the season. He said, hey, Bill, I got it. I got the team. This is it. I'm going to go. He said, you're going to see us at the championship games. He said, they bank on it.
Called his shot.
Man, he must really like and trust Billy. Billy's the guy he went to with that. Because that's like some serious stuff.
Is that right?
You heard it here first, Bill.
I said,
We're going all the way, buddy.
And I said, is that right? I said, well, you're going to have to prove it. And after they lost them couple games, and when I saw him lose to Bonner, he comes over and he said, hey, he says, I know what's wrong. He said, we're going to get it fixed. He said, I promise you, we're going to get it fixed. And then 3 weeks ago, he called me and he wanted to know about Danville and Loyal Sock and, how those teams are and stuff like that. And I said,
did you tell him to go to PIAAD4.net, do all his scouting?
Said, well, I'll be.
That's where I go.
Yeah. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, you've got to contend with either Danville, Loyal Sock, while missing, and I said, "Good luck." He said, "We're going to be there, Bill. I'm telling you. Trust me. We got it fixed." He said, "We're not the same team."
There's a guy that
you
loves
saw."
his team.
Yeah.
He really
He said,
trusts his team.
He said, "We got it fixed." He said, "Believe me, we're going to be there, Bill." He said, "You'll see." Here they are.
Is Sean Battle playing?
Sean Battle is not playing.
Okay.
They have a really good running back too, and his name's Sean Battle, but he is not going to be playing. So that might hurt their cause.
I think that will. I think of all the things that we saw this weekend, I think that's the biggest hurt for any team, losing Sean Battle.
Now, they lost him. Let's say lost him in the middle of the third quarter.
He was ejected.
Against Wyomissing. Yeah, he was. So they were able to finish off Wyomissing for a quarter and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing game that was. The Wyomissing game. Wyomissing, Newman Goretti. Who do we have there? Who was at that game? Brian. Trade places with Ed over there.
Come on, buddy.
Come on up here.
Do I have to teach you how to put the headset on, or you think you got it the second time?
We're going to trade Ed out for Brian because I'm going to tell you something right now. Hollywood got to see an amazing 3 minutes of football. Talk about that 3 minutes of
Give me
football,
the final
Brian.
3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 34 seconds, 2 touchdowns in the last 34 seconds of the game.
Well, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And 2 in the last 34.
Right,
Yeah.
2 in the last 34.
And that was after Battle got ejected.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Yeah, just it's crazy.
Newman Goretti's down.
They were down. Wyomissing just scored a touchdown. Touchdown pass. They get the ball. Newman Goretti gets the ball, returns it to about the 40-yard line with like 34 seconds left. They drive down to the 44. Coach calls a timeout. They basically draw it up on their hands, I guess, or in the dirt. I don't even know where this play came from. But the one thing they wanted to do was to make sure, when you're a defensive back, you never let what? Never let the receiver get behind you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the receiver came across the field and kind of got behind everybody and just laid a perfect pass out there and made a great catch and took it in with 8 seconds left.
Becky Gordon has completed a turnaround as a quarterback, and Becky Gordon has matured and become a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Wyo comes back.
Yeah. Well, they tried to come. They made the last play at the end, but it's a little bit too late.
But what an amazing game. I'm talking about like Newman Goretti. What impressed you about Newman Goretti?
Just the way they stood up to Wyomissing, they were able to go head to head with them, toe to toe, and be able to stop that offense because that's a tough offense to stop when you're not used to playing that down there. They don't play that kind of style with that single wing.
Yeah.
And they play more wide open, and they stood toe to toe with them, and they were able to stop.
2 big guys up front. You had Javon Williams on one side for Wyomissing, Corn Robinson. That was a matchup. I looked at film, and that was an intriguing matchup. Corn Robinson, big man up front.
Penn State recruit. Commit.
Yep. Bell Vernon's going to have problems with him. Bell Vernon is going to have problems with Corn Robinson.
Definitely.
He's a player. How you doing, Corn, by the way? Talked to Corn a couple days ago. Good football player. Newman Goretti's just, they are very athletic. They've got the athletes out there, and they're very good.
The group of experts I was listening to today, and they kind of sounded like they were experts, said that Goretti's pretty well-rounded.
Yep.
They're athletic, but they're big and strong. They can run the ball, but they can pass a little. Like they don't have to rely on just certain aspects. They can do a little bit of everything well.
Yeah.
Is that what you saw?
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see Newman Goretti win this game. It would not shock me at all. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. I think Bell Vernon's going to, I think he's going to run all over the place. I think Newman Goretti's going to throw the ball all over the place, and they're going to run it. The only if is if those 2 running backs that are filling in, and he's got 2 running backs filling in for Sean Battle. If that happens, we'll have to wait and see how those guys fill in. But they've still got some athletes around the field that can get it done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think we're in, we keep talking about these games. And
We're in for a treat.
Yeah, for sure.
These should be some amazing games. So I'm excited. So we got one more game to talk about. Just one more. We did 5. We're going to talk about number 6. We're going to hear from a couple of sponsors.
They keep
We're going to
getting
come back.
better and better. These matchups that we're talking about.
I know. We're going to talk about this next one. We're going to hear from some sponsors, and we'll be right back to talk Harrisburg and St. Joe's Prep.
Hey, yo!
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michael Sikoski from the Funding Zone, the #1 fundraising company in the state of Pennsylvania. If you need help raising funds for your program, please contact us at 570-885-0900.
I don't know if it was without Trey, because Trey Tremble wasn't there. I don't
All
know.
right, welcome back to Appalachian Brewing Company. Here we are. We're talking about the last game. We're championship. We're right down the road from Cumberland Valley High School. Championship weekend. Joe Gilloway from New Inglestown Gazette Sports is right here. And Brian Tashinsky, Holly, or Pro Time. We got Dan the Man and Edo over there from Circle W Sports. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to talk 6A football, the big boys. We're going to talk St. Joe's Prep. We're going to talk Harrisburg. Let's start off with Harrisburg. Would you call them the underdog?
Yes.
But for an underdog, they've got some players.
Yeah, they're athletic. 2 very good running backs. If assuming that both of them will be playing, we don't know if Mekhi Hopkins is healthy or not. We know that Kyle Williams Jr. is very healthy.
He was
63 yards rushing.
He was healthy to the tune of 200. I had him for 265.
Okay, well, he had 4 touchdowns and a lot of yards rushing.
And he just ran all over the field. They couldn't stop him. The moves. He was like, remember that game that you were playing, the video game, the basketball one, and all of a sudden it'd be like, he's on fire, and he couldn't. What was that game? NBA Jam. It's on fire. Well, that was Williams against State College.
He's my favorite high school football player.
He
by
would
the way.
plant a foot. He would plant a foot, move, and go this way, and just zoom past the State College. But he was in a zone. He was in a zone, and I would say, almost single-handedly led that turnaround. I mean, some of the moves he made to get loose, you like to credit your line, but no, you got to credit the moves he made.
Typically, you wouldn't say that with any accuracy or validity about a sport that has 11 guys on a team, but he almost single-handedly turned that game around. What you just said is absolutely right.
It was his moves, the move he made. I mean, he was what did they call it? He was breaking ankles.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just.
He's an ankle breaker. He really
made a move on his first touchdown run. He broke to the left and hit the sideline. I thought he was going out of bounds. He just kind of leaned and went right down the sidelines, and he was gone. I mean, the move he made to stay in bounds, I was just like, wow, he like sticky tape or something on the ground or something like that. But he did a great job. And the other piece of credit I'm going to give to Harrisburg is, and against State College, and in the games I've seen him, is Terrell Reynolds. I mean, he's wearing that famous number 2. We know another pretty good defensive end that wore that number, Micah Parsons. And how many sacks does he have to date right now? 24? He didn't get one at State College.
And he has 24 still.
Yeah, he didn't get one at State College. 24.
He broke the season record, though.
Yeah, season
a
record.
couple weeks ago, he broke the season record.
On a team that had Micah Parsons.
Right.
And Terrell's.
And a lot of other really good.
Terrell ran a team
players.
I mean, Terrell is a menace. I don't think St. Joe's has seen anything like. You can almost say it's like having Micah Parsons across the way. I mean, he's that good, and he's big, and he's strong, and he's athletic, and he's fast. I mean, and what a gentleman to talk to too. What a nice guy. But I mean, I don't think St. Joe's has seen anything like that. This defense for Harrisburg, they can move around. They can make the
good.
plays.
They're really good.
Yeah, I mean, Samaj Jones is going to have to be on point. He can't be a little bit off, or that Harrisburg secondary is going to eat him up.
I think that one of the things that Harrisburg hopes it would come down to a close game, because they know they're not going to blow St. Joe's Prep out. I don't think they are. They have no kicking game. Harrisburg, you know that.
Yeah.
I see you down at the Severance Field sometimes, at least once or twice a season. They have no kicking game.
Yeah.
I remember John Calipari said when he was coaching Memphis, he said, it's not going to come down to free throws. Okay, this is earlier in the season. This national championship game against Kansas came down to free throws. You know,
They didn't make it.
yeah, they didn't make the free throws. So the point is that it could come down to the kicking game, and Harrisburg has none. They don't even go for 21-yard field goals.
They went
They'll
for
go.
one.
They'll go for fourth. They'll go for 4th and 16, rather than kick a 21 or attempt a 21-yard field goal.
Yeah, they attempted a extra point last week and made it.
Oh, did they? Like a little line driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what they look
did.
like.
But I mean, you know, if you had to pick out a weakness for Harrisburg, I guess that would be it. They don't have a kicking game. I mean, they don't have anybody that can kick the ball deep. St. Joe's does. They don't have anybody to kick a field goal. St. Joe's does.
Mm-hmm.
He's got one heck of a leg. And but Harrisburg has that thing, that swagger right now. They have a swagger. I mean, you could feel on the sidelines against State College. They were down 7-0 in the first quarter. It looked like State College was dominating them. In the second quarter, you could feel the tide turn. They came out in the second half. You could feel it when they got on the sidelines for the second half. You knew State College was in trouble. And they just started pounding them. And boom, there they were. And they handled State College very well. They destroyed them. And they did the same thing to a good Manheim Township team the week before.
I don't want to state the obvious, but Harrisburg hasn't faced anything like they're getting ready to face on Saturday.
What are they getting
and I'm looking over at you because you're the one. Yeah, you're our guy. On
Brian, what
State
are they
Coast
getting ready to
Press.
face? You saw St. Joe's play.
I did see St. Joe's play. Saw them against Parkland a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry about sending you to that game.
Yeah, really. They start off a little slow. Parkland was able to move the ball early against them. A lot of screen passes seemed to be working. A lot of short passes. They moved the ball, but when they got down in the red zone area, they couldn't convert. Now they were playing without Trey Tremba, their top running back for Parkland. He was out, so I don't know how much of a difference that made. But then once, St. Joe's got their feet under them and then they got a couple of touchdowns. And again, just like the other games, it was just a snowball effect. And they just, totally dominated Parkland after a while.
Samaj Jones is just an amazing quarterback.
He's an amazing quarterback.
He can throw. He can run.
I saw him make a 54-yard run where he made like 6 cuts. It was like he was going to the sideline, cut to the middle, cut back against the grain, make a couple of guys miss, jumped over one guy, the linebacker. He jumped over him. And went in for a score, and that kind of got the ball rolling for them, and then they just got into the flow.
And then you have David Washington, the whiteout.
Yeah, he got a couple touchdown passes in that game.
Yeah.
Jones is a running back who looks like a linebacker who plays quarterback. Yeah, if you think of it, because he really does have a background, a history as a running back.
Yeah,
and he is built like a linebacker.
And people, I think, look at St. Joe's and they've been destroying. I mean, some teams can move the ball a little bit, but eventually they get into that rhythm and say, who in the world beat them? Well, the number 7 team in the country, St. Thomas Aquinas from Florida, beat them. I think the final was 49-38, but St. Joe's halfway through the third quarter was winning that game against the number 7 team in the country. So it's not going to be an easy task for Harrisburg for sure. But if St. Joe's gets on a roll, it could be a long day for Harrisburg. But I think Harrisburg has the potential to make it a close game.
Yeah, but they got to be good on offense. They have to be very good on offense. And there's a problem on defense with St. Joe's. His name is Josiah Trotter. That's a big problem.
We've heard that name before, haven't we?
There's another guy that everybody knows the name, Saka, playing defense for so St. Joe's defense. They've got some really good athletes on defense. Tim Roken does a great job down there. He just, one name we forgot to mention, if I could back up for Newman Reddy, was Kevin Thomas, defensive end, great football player. great football player. But they run their program like a professional program. After the game, they go right out on the field. They're already in their position groups, and they're talking about what they have to do for next week to improve. You know, they do everything like a professional football team. Actually, more than what a professional.
I was going to say, I don't see professional teams doing that.
Well, no, they go in their locker rooms and they do that, but right on the field, they're going right out. They're just while it's fresh in the guys' minds. They're like, hey, you missed this. We told you about that. You know, they're going over all this stuff right on the field.
Yeah.
After a game, and that impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't do it at the state championship game because obviously they don't have a
No
game.
games left.
So, but they do it after every single football game, and Tim Roken does a great job. And that St. Joe's, a lot of people pick on them, but St. Joe's, you got to remember, 9 years ago, you never heard of them.
No.
They just went on a run.
Why is that? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yeah, they had a really, really good coach who came in, Gabe Infante, put a system in. I mean, of course, Gabe's up at Penn State now. Went to Temple for a while. Now he's at Penn State coaching. Gabe Infante did a great job, put a great system in down at St. Joe's. They've just held that system, and every coach that's come in just steps right into that system and does a great job.
Kind of push the LaSalle's out a little bit. And Wood, who went up to 6A, now they're back down to 5A, but you don't hear much from them. And I think St. Joe's is probably ends up with some of the Wood players. That would be playing for Wood.
And two of the St. Joe's best players from last year transferred to New Jersey, to Camden High. So they're playing without two of their best players. They're top recruits with Division I. So they just pull another guy up from their system, and most of those kids have been there. Those kids have been there since 8th grade. They don't go out and recruit seniors and juniors. Those kids are there. You got to have 2 years of Latin to get in St. Joe's.
It's a $30,000 a year school.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Bishop McDevitt, and I'm only using them because I'm familiar with them, is a $7,500 to $8,000 a year school.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. So, there's another big game. St. Joe's Prep, Harrisburg, the Cougars, Cal Everett.
I know how disappointed that team was when they walked off the field against Mount Lebo last year.
Yeah.
Oh, they were very
lost,
disappointed.
and they were very
terribly.
They were very young too.
They were very young. We talked about it last year when we had this session. If you were going to beat St. Joe's, last year was going to be the one year to beat them.
And Mount Lebanon had a once in a lifetime team, not a once in a generation team.
Yeah.
That was that team that's been playing together since they were, little boys, knee high to a grasshopper. Yeah. They all stuck together, and everything just lined up for them. In addition to what you said, that St. Joe's was a little young and inexperienced, so it just the stars lined up for Mount Lebo next year.
Perfect storm.
Right.
And let's hope we have a perfect storm on Saturday. And
I just want to see. I mean, this is going to sound so cliche, but I really just want to see a good game.
Yeah.
I'm a Harrisburg guy. That's where I grew up, and if you're looking for me on a Saturday afternoon, I'm at Severance Field, so I support Harrisburg. I like Cal.
Yeah, you
Everett
weren't there
a lot.
last week, though. I was looking for you, man.
I wasn't there last week.
Where's Joe?
That's why you didn't see him.
I'm looking forward to him even more Saturday night because of that.
Yeah, there you go. So, anyways, well, that's our championship preview show from Appalachian Brewing Company here.
You guys all do great jobs.
Joe,
great job.
Great job, Joe. My staff here, Dan the man who
Dan,
runs
you do
the
a great
show.
job.
The state of PA football every year gets a little bit better and a little bit better. Dan does a great job. Next year we're going to have a few surprises. Got to thank Edo.
Don't forget Ed.
I can't
forget about
I
Ed.
have too many people to thank. I got to thank Willie. I got Mike. I got Mayhem. I got.
We got
Charlie,
JoJo for sitting through here.
JoJo.
Yeah.
I mean, we got AJ. We got Alex. We got TC Jones. We got Shane Bruce. We got. There's too many to thank. So I just gotta. I want to thank my whole staff, everybody. I want to thank all my interns. I want to thank Tristan. I want to thank everybody for just being a part of PA Football News, and I want to thank everybody for being a part of the state of PA football. I want to thank everybody around.
Thanks for involving me.
I got to thank Joe.
Times throughout the year, a handful. And this will be the last time we're together, like under this kind of scenario, until August.
August.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I'll see all you guys up there, right?
Yep. They're all coming.
Yeah, these guys, they're fun. Do a really good job. Ed will be there, right, Ed?
Ed will be there, definitely.
It's going to be an exciting weekend. I think we're going to have a great weekend of football.
And then the guy that knows more than all the rest of us combined walks in.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. I'm going to disagree with you there, buddy. I'll disagree with you there. Hey, listen, folks, come on down to Cumberland Valley this weekend. Check out what they have in store for the playoff games. We're excited to be this, part of this weekend. And I'm going to miss football when it's over, but it doesn't stop. We'll keep on grinding. Thanks for being here. Thanks for Dan. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for the fans for checking us out. This has been the State of PA Football. We're going to talk to you live tomorrow morning at 12:40. Come to PaFootballNews.com for our pregame report. See ya.
Thanks, Billy.
At the game.
Good job.
Good job, fellas. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michael Sikuski from the Funding Zone, the #1 fundraising company in the state of Pennsylvania. If you need help raising funds for your program, please contact us at 570-885-0900. Thank you.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
The Cobalt Plus headset system delivers proven performance along with more users, more flexibility. That's why coaches across Pennsylvania trust Cobalt Plus. CoachComm makes tough headset systems for tough teams. We build headsets to help teams win. Call or click to learn more about Cobalt Plus from the proven leader in football communications.
going to keep it. Whitlock up the middle. There he goes!